How is everybody tonight? Fantastic. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for joining us. I know that it's a little bit rainy out there and wasn't easy for everybody to make your way over here. As they said, I'm Dr. Sarah Burdak. I'm the Vice President of Education and Training for Starkey Hearing Technologies. It's a pleasure to be speaking to all of you tonight. And I do want to certainly thank Apple for hosting us because we really are mutually involved with accessibility. And when you think about that from a vision aspect, it's also as important from a hearing aspect. And that's really what I'm here to speak to you all about tonight, is the future of hearing technology. Now, there's quite a few of you in here, and I know how this works. Some of you are probably here because you're thinking, oh, I might need some hearing help someday. Or you or a loved one might need some hearing help and you want to know what's available. What are the current trends? Some of you may be in here because you've already used amplification or you've had experience with hearing aids and you think, okay, what's next? Maybe there's something that's better for me out there. And some of you saw our special guest tonight. And you said, and I'm getting some nods up here, and you said, Daymond John is going to be there. And you said, I'm in, and you registered for the class. So you're going to be hearing from Daymond John a little bit later. But we do want to take a step back and have a little bit of a serious moment about this topic, because hearing loss is the third most prevalent chronic condition in the world. So if you think about that, we have millions and millions of people that need our help. And the great news is that that is what Starkey Hearing Technologies is passionate about. It is our goal to really reach out because we believe that if someone can hear better, they can absolutely live better. And you know, this isn't going away. We see that we have individuals that are living longer than ever before. We're even seeing today that 1 in 6 teenagers has some degree of hearing loss, and that's because we live in a really noisy world. So we have to take care of our hearing. We then have to make sure that we have fantastic solutions for individuals who need our help. So I want to start just by talking a little bit about technology that is certainly made for life, but is so individual that it's made really for each and every one of you. And we have to look at what happens when somebody needs hearing help. It often starts because they're missing out on conversations. They're missing out on speech. So they'll say, you know, I really am not able to understand the meaningful elements of speech, the beginning and the ending of the word. And therefore that contributes to the number one reason why somebody decides to finally do something about their hearing. It's because they've had an embarrassing moment. They misunderstood what somebody said. They showed up at the wrong time. They had something happen at work, and it's because they didn't understand what was said. So I want you to take a listen here because we have some great audio demos. It's a challenge, as you know, in a group like this and lots of activity going on in the Apple Store, as there always is, to experience what benefits can be provided through hearing technology. So I want to play some files for you and just to set up what you're listening to. The first demonstration is without any help or without any amplification. And it's filtered through a file that has a more mild to moderate hearing loss. Then you'll hear an after scenario where it's now the same audio that is now put through one of the Halo 2 devices, and you'll be able to hear that difference and visually see that difference as well. So let's take a listen.
You know, Boston is so pretty. Gosh,
Beautiful.
last time I was here, it was for the bath show, and I just did not leave the hotel, and I didn't get to Boston is so pretty. Gosh,
Beautiful.
last time I was here, it was for that kitchen and bath show, and I just did not leave the hotel, and I didn't
So, truly an incredible difference. And I know that some of you said, oh gosh, right? But remember, we're providing crisp, clean audio through the Halo 2 devices, and that's what you are hearing out. We also are able to, with this technology, do some extraordinary things. So, we have a true hearing system. So, there's Halo 2 hearing devices, but when they're matched with the TrueLink app and working with the Apple iPhone, we have a lot more tools and features, customization, personalization that can happen in these hearing aids. So just a few examples. One thing that's really exciting is that any audio, and truly any audio, can be streamed from the Apple iPhone directly to the Halo devices. So think of what that means. Siri, your maps, your music, your notifications, movie files, all of that, in addition to the hearing aid, can then be streamed directly through to the Halo 2 devices. You can receive phone calls just as you normally would and interact seamlessly with your phone that you have. You also have a lot of settings that you can customize and adjust. So for every single environment that you're in, you have full control over how you want to hear in that situation. And that gets us to more than just conversations. It's always more than just about speech, but speech is incredibly important. But what if you're on the golf course and it's windy, or you're outdoor, you're in a car, you're on your patio, and you're making margaritas and the blender's going off? Then what? We want to make sure that the Made for Life technology is made for every listening environment. So now let's have you take a listen to something that's a bit more challenging. The first audio sample was really in quiet, two people kind of facing each other, right? Now we're going to listen to a similar conversation, but we're in a restaurant. And that's going to add some more noise, and we want to see how these hearing aids sound, again, without the technology and then with the Halo 2 technology. Let's take a listen.
So guess who I ran into from high school the other day?
Who?
Janice Thompson.
No.
Yeah. So guess who I ran into from high school the other day?
Who?
Janice Thompson.
No.
So again, you can hear some extraordinary differences, right? And in that particular case, those ladies wanted to hear all of that gossip that was about to happen. So again, there's some extraordinary features that you get when you add the TrueLink app into the system. So just a couple to highlight. There's a remote control function. So seamlessly at the click of a button, you can change volume, you can change memory, you can mute devices directly and easily right from your iPhone. There's a fantastic feature called Comfort Boost. And if you think about this, imagine yourself. You're walking along the street, it's fairly quiet, you're headed to the game, you're really excited. You walk into that stadium, and the stadium sound is a huge roar, right? What do? You may need a little more support in noise management and noise control. At the touch of a button, there's a feature called Comfort Boost that instantly engages some more noise control, noise management performance for you. And then the geotagged settings, and this is really, really fun. You can create up to 20 customized memories. And with that, you can choose which memories you want to be tagged to a specific location. So if I create a custom memory for my favorite Starbucks on Grand Street, and I say I want this to be geotagged, when I get in close proximity to that Starbucks on Grand Street, guess what? My hearing aids automatically switch to the best memory for me that I've created. So really unique ways to integrate with the technology. One of the most relevant features with this system, though, is music. So I've talked about the fact that we've had to make sure everybody can hear speech. I've talked about all of these other listening situations that are challenging, that people need to be able to hear in. But what about music? And music historically has always fallen fairly flat. And we now have the first dedicated music prescription that is personalized for the way you would want to listen to music. So I'll have you listen to what that sounds like, again, without the technology and then through the Halo 2 devices. We have had so many testimonials on music and the sound quality. I've had many individuals tell me, you know what, that is how I remember music sounding. You have truly given that richness, that fullness back to my life, and we can't thank you enough. We've had people high-fiving and everything else, and it's been just such a fantastic, fantastic technology. So music enhancement is great in sound space. I'm going to show you here in just a minute because it allows you then to make sure that you can go in and set up how you want to listen to music. And maybe it's more than that. Maybe you're a music buff and you say, well, I like to listen to classical different than I like to listen to pop or country or all of the genres. And lastly, we wouldn't be here at the Apple Store in Soho if it wasn't about connectivity. And this is certainly something that we look at is how can we extend the technology? What else can we provide for the patients? We have a live mic function, which means that if you're in a situation and you're having a difficult time hearing somebody, you could actually have them have the microphone in front of them. That audio is going to stream straight into their hearing aids. So the chances that they're going to hear speech better are much, much higher. We also then incorporated the technology with the Apple Watch. So at the touch of a wrist, you do have some remote control functionality where, again, you have volume, you can mute the devices, and you can change memories. So there's a lot, right? A lot going on, which is fantastic. But I want to just quickly, before I wrap up, show you how seamless this all works together. Because if it isn't easy, nobody is going to use it. And I think you've all seen technologies like that where it's sophisticated, it looks good, it's great, but it's too difficult, and then it sits there and no one is taking advantage of it. So the TrueLink app has an easy-to-use remote control. We have sound space. I'll show you that in just a minute. And then we also have a tinnitus feature for those 50 million individuals that suffer from tinnitus, which is ringing or noise in the ear. That's available through the app as well. So let's have some fun and see what this looks like. So for Stream Boost, as I said, you can customize your setting for any audio that you want through the hearing aid. So whether it's music, a phone, or your maps, or a video, what have you, that Stream Boost setting is customized specifically for you. With Sound Space, to give you an idea of what Sound Space looks like, all the individual has to do is put their finger on the screen.
Oh yeah, don't worry about that.
move it around. You can hear out that difference. When they find the right spot for them, they go, ah, that's perfect. All they need to do is hit yes, I want to save. This is my office at Starkey. And I said I'm there a lot, so I want it geotagged. So I go in, I create a geotag specific to that environment. That means every time I show up to work, it automatically goes into that customized memory for me. Auto car memory is kind of fun. Whenever the accelerometer on the phone detects that it's going over 10 miles per hour, the car memory will engage. So I'll have you look right at the top there where it says normal, and you'll see when the speedometer goes 10, it switches over to the car memory automatically. And that's important for all of you as well. I was told, well, you know, New Yorkers, they don't all drive cars. So it will work specifically for going over 10 miles per hour, meaning if you're on the train, you could be in a taxi, really any mode of transportation. Comfort boost, we're at the Yankee Stadium. We've got it tagged here. I'll have you listen to this. This is where you would walk in, hit the button. Did you hear out that difference in what you can get from noise management? Significant. And lastly, we try to account for all of the oops moments in life. Some of you are smiling because certainly you may have known somebody, I can't find my hearing aids. I went to the gym, I took them off when I jumped in the shower, and now what? So we have a Find My Hearing Aids feature. And if the batteries are working in the device, it works as hot, cold, getting closer to my hearing aids. If they aren't in range or the batteries aren't working, you can use the map function and it'll show you the last location where those hearing aids did have a working battery. So kind of fun. We tried to account for truly everything that we could think of. So I wanted to wrap up and have some fun with this and how do we put all of this together. And I started off saying how easy this is. And this is a little snippet really of a day in the life of what someone could expect on their way to work. So I'll talk you through it, but I want you just to see how integrated this is. They're going to be using their iPhone just as they would typically use their iPhone. And everything else is engaging automatically. So let's take a look. So I'm in my apartment at home. I got dishes clanking. And I decide, oh my gosh, I'm late. I've got to get to work. So I'm going to my normal memory. My friend calls me to give me a message because I'm on my way to meet her. And here's what she says.
Hello? Hey, I'm running a few minutes late. I'll see you at Starbucks in a little bit. Okay, sounds good.
So I've got a bit more time. So I get off the call. I go from normal, I get in a taxi. That automatically switches to the best memory, which is my car memory. And then I get to my favorite Starbucks, which is also tagged. Automatically changes to my Starbucks memory. Have my coffee. Now I'm walking to work and I think I want to listen to a few tunes, right? And that's all going straight to my hearing aids as well. So really amazing how easily this technology is integrated into someone's life because it is designed to be made for life. And before I bring up our next speaker, I just want to say, certainly at Starkey Hearing Technologies, we don't do any of this without our heart. And that's what the Starkey Hearing Foundation is all about. If you're not familiar with the Starkey Hearing Foundation, they have over 100 countries, fit over 1.8 million individuals with hearing aids that would not be able to get them otherwise. It is really the heart of what Starkey's about. It's our purpose so the world may hear. And actually, Daymond John has been on 3 missions with the Starkey Hearing Foundation. More recently, he did a mission at Yankee Stadium with the Yankees for the Holocaust survivors. So he has a big heart. You know that he has a lot of passion. Most of you know him as having big, extraordinary ideas as an entrepreneur. He has written a couple of books, so he's a great author, he's a motivational speaker, and he is a user of Halo 2 and TrueLink. So I'd appreciate it if you could help me give our next speaker a huge welcome and a round of applause, Daymond John.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So I'm here to talk about Starkey and the Halo 2s. And first I fell in love with Starkey because, as shared with you, I went on several hearing missions. 2, I believe, one in Yankee Stadium, and or 2 in Yankee Stadium, excuse me, and 1 in Arizona. And the first time I went, I didn't really know much about the company, but I was told that we were going to go and fit people and give them the gift of hearing. I, at that time, didn't know that I had some hearing loss. But when I would see a child who was 12 years old who was not really heard either ever before or very rarely have heard at the level that we have, when I see somebody fit him and flip a switch and he hears for the first time and starts to vocalize and starts to mimic the words you're saying, tears will come to your eyes. You'll never, ever forget that. I then started to question my hearing. And as I have my halos in, I found out that it was more than a hearing aid. It was more like hearing luxury to me because of the technology, because of the ability to cut off Kevin O'Leary when he's sitting right next to me. No, I'm just serious. But cut off back noise. Listen to my books because I'm dyslexic. So I don't like reading. But if I'm in the car, if I'm on the plane, if I'm on the train, I get to listen to my books without disturbing other people because I can record the conversations. Of course, I tell everybody when I'm recording the conversation, but I can actually record them. I can sit them down. I can sit my phone down and have a conversation with you. And if I have to go over the notes, then I just play it back. And I found them to be really amazing. But then something else I learned that because I'm dyslexic, and I share with everybody that I'm dyslexic, that's a hearing disability. I mean, that's a disability, the invisible disability. So is hearing. When you're a child and you're in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th grade, and you don't hear what's being said clearly, you don't want to say, huh? Why? We all know how kids are, right? So you start to shy away from a lot of studies and things like that are really crucial to you because of your lack of hearing. And I never knew that. And being somebody who was dyslexic, and I was made fun of in school because I didn't necessarily comprehend the words as quick as I should, I didn't realize that other kids suffering from hearing loss were going through the same exact things. And now as an adult, even when I'm home, and let's say I'm with my wife at home and we're watching TV, have you ever been in the room when your parents or somebody older wants the TV on volume 10 and you really want it on volume 4? Right? It's not like when you're home and you're cold and somebody else is hot. You're always too cold or you're always too hot. But hearing is not like that. I can just raise these up and adjust, and everybody can enjoy watching television instead. So there are many, many, many things that I find amazing about this company, but the most important thing is that they care. Is that I see how they go around the world and they fit people in countries that really would never hear ever. That it helps employ people. It helps people who now can hear go get a job. Seeing a child or an adult hear for the first time in their lives is something that you will never forget, no matter how many times you do it. So I want to open it up to any questions that anybody may have. Yeah.
I'm guessing that to acquire one of these devices and begin to use it is not to throw a switch and boom, suddenly you can hear. Is there an adaptive process? And if there is, would you talk about it? What it means to move up the learning curve as you begin to hear with the benefit of these devices?
I never experienced that process. When they were put in, immediately my life changed. Now, they say that it's over 10 years that somebody then finally realizes they have this loss of hearing. And so what I do is I'll put them in other people's ears who are not even fitted with my hearing, and they will immediately see the difference. So I didn't have a learning curve. Is there a learning curve?
There can be, and Damon's completely right that on average most people wait so long to try amplification for the first time that when they're fit at the level they should be, sometimes they have a fairly strong reaction to it. So it depends on how long you've waited, how severe the hearing loss is, but usually that window within about 6 weeks of time is much more narrow. So sometimes you might tell somebody, well, you're going to wear the hearing aid a few hours a day. Have a journal, how did it go? Then extend that time until you're wearing it all day, every day.
My question is this for every type of hearing loss, severe or moderate, any type?
Yes. Yep. So we have a couple of different styles. So we have what's called a receiver in the canal, and you can connect different receiver powers to that so that it will accommodate more severe hearing losses. And then we also have a style called behind the ear, and that can accommodate, again, more severe hearing losses as well. So it's really runs the range from mild to severe.
You know, when you have hearing loss, obviously you lose frequencies that you never gain back. Is this thing synthetically reproducing these frequencies, or those frequencies are gone? This can't do that.
So we are reproducing those frequencies, and actually one of the most exciting advances that we've had in this last release of technology was that we were also able to extend the bandwidth of the hearing aids. So the bandwidth itself goes out to 10 kilohertz, where we're able to provide amplification even out in the, I'll say, extreme high frequencies, which means that you're able to boost speech consonant sounds even better than before. That's also significant with the music algorithm that we have.
So is this a better substitute than headphones, Bluetooth?
Is it a better substitute than headphones? Certainly, if you have a hearing loss, definitely. But I will tell you, we get that question a lot as things become more and more mainstream and what we're doing with noise management. And people saying, well, wouldn't that help me with normal hearing in any of these environments? So, you know, I think we're starting to see a little bit more of that merger in thinking from who can benefit from all of this technology and signal processing, and it isn't always going to solely be for somebody that has a hearing loss.
Hi, Daymond. I'm Jason Ruiz. Big fan.
Thank you.
Quick question. What do you notice most when going or attending meetings, restaurant, or maybe even going to the club when wearing your halos?
Well, every one of those instances are different. You know, the meetings, I hear everything's clear, very clear. If I'm going to a restaurant, cutting out the back noise, things of that nature, it always amplifies or clarifies what I'm hearing. If I go to the club, I actually can turn them down, but I feel or hear more of the music. I hear every part of the instrument, every instrument being played. So, you know, if I'm in my house, so I have a 4-month-old. So playing music is not really popular in my house. I mean, it is if you're playing Wheels on a Bus Go Round and Round. I mean, I've heard that song, 40 times today. So when I'm playing music on my normal stereo, I can turn these up and hear it and not disturb the baby.
Would you tell us what these devices cost, and is there a trend line with this technology, as with so many technologies, of cost declining over time?
Sure. The number one question is always, what do these cost? And really, it's based on the technology level and sometimes the style that you get. So I will say typically it can be a few $100s. It can be as much as a few $1,000s per hearing aid. So that's a very individual question. So certainly we do have some practices that are local that we can get you connected to that could answer that specifically for what you need and what you need for a hearing loss.
Daymond, what I guess feature on the Halos do you find that you get the most benefit or enjoy the most from it?
I get listening to my audiobooks and listening to my music. That it's a difference that that I can get elsewhere, but I don't necessarily want to wear different types of headsets. If I want to listen in a meeting and I need to put my Halos in, then I want to listen to music, then I put something else on. I don't need to do that. So I definitely need them for everyday hearing. But I absolutely enjoy the aspects of listening to audiobooks and listening to music.
So I'd like to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. I personally would love to thank Apple. I know that aligning with such an amazing brand that cares about, where technology is going, and of course Starkey. If you do anything, look into what they're doing to bring hearing to amazing people, and maybe you can, recommend the technology and/or just what they do as a mission. I've been really educated on this, and it empowers people. And to see and watch people here for the first time, especially the Holocaust victims I met and the kids out there and the everyday people, it's truly amazing. So thank you for having me. I appreciate you coming out in the rain. Thank you.
Thank you.